Almost immediately, I heard unplug from all inputs. No more Instagram, no more Facebook, no more podcasts, no more YouTube. Every digital input that you have been consuming and scrolling through and numbing with, stop it for the month of January. Good morning. How are we doing today? Coffee first, per usual. So this morning, I want to talk about the fast that I did for the month of January. So every month of January, for the past few years, I have done a fast. And it really started out with everybody else as like a dry January or a healthy January where I cut out alcohol, dairy, whatever. And over the past few years, I've noticed that I just felt called to go a little bit deeper and fast from something that would have a slightly more character-driven change. And so I would start to talk to God about what He wanted me to fast. My church does an end of the year fast. And last year I asked God, hey, what do you want me to fast? And I heard, don't drink any liquids but water for the entire month of January. And that posed quite a threat to my current relationship here. But I did it, and there was a lot of revelation that came out of it, a lot of realization of how addicted I might be to coffee. Yes, I know. Not something I had to fast this year. But yeah, it just taught me a lot. And so this year truthfully, I didn't feel like fasting anything. I came into this year feeling kind of like not pumped. Normally I start the year, I'm excited, I have goals, I've spent a lot of time reflecting. And I had already done a lot of reflecting in September, October, because that's when the Hebrew New Year is. So I came into this year and I had been on vacation in Colorado with my friend, and I just wasn't ready to start the year. But my church, again, was doing our 3-day corporate fast. I tried to do that fast from food. I did it 2 days, but I just really had a hard time connecting with God, getting into that momentum, and just sensing God speaking to me, which is normally not a hard thing to do. And I asked God, okay, January, I think it was like 6th. I just asked God, okay, what do you want me to fast from? And it was almost immediately I heard unplug from all inputs. Unplug from all inputs. And I knew exactly what He meant. He meant no more Instagram, no more Facebook, no more podcasts, no more YouTube. Every digital input that you have been consuming and scrolling through and numbing with, stop it for the month of January. And confession, in the month of December, it was just like, December's always weird, right? Like, there's the holidays, you're going to holiday parties, there's festivities, your schedule's all weird. And so I'm not a huge TV watcher. I don't even have a TV. I stream on my computer. But I got into this super nostalgic series. And by the end of the month, I was addicted. I was watching like 4 episodes a day of this show. That's a lot of consumption. And when I start to get into that mode, there's usually a conviction of like, oh, I shouldn't do this, but I do it anyway. Oh, I shouldn't eat that ice cream, but I do it anyway. And that's how I get with certain habits around digital consumption. And so I was like, you know what? I know that's God. I'm going to do it. So I decided to take off YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, what else? Facebook, all the apps off my phone. There are a few things that I would still have to access for work, but I wasn't scrolling, I wasn't consuming for the whole month of January. It's now February 2nd. I want to share today what I learned, what I really noticed shift, what was challenging, and what things I'll probably continue to do. So let's go ahead and get into it. More sips of coffee. I found myself scrolling through Amazon and wanting to find things to shop, or scrolling through my email 100 times, even though there was not a new email there. So that habit of Still picking up my phone was a hard one to break. Another challenging one is that I really did want to, at night, I wanted to stream that show. I wanted to like go to bed and have my little comfort of like putting on episodes of this and that. I also love watching YouTube, and right now I've been watching this particular French vlogger because I want to learn French and I love her vlog. And so that felt like a learning thing. And I found myself wanting to make exceptions to watch this girl's vlog because it was for learning purposes. So my brain was doing these little mental gymnastics of trying to make exceptions for this, not even 30-day fast I was doing. Other challenging things, I had to go on Instagram for work. So I could see that I had a lot of messages, notifications on my Instagram account. And it was tempting not to want to go in and respond and do all that. But I just had this realization of I don't need to respond to everything right away. And we've got into this hyper responsive, did you see my text? Did you see my message? Did you get my email? Like where it's just immediate and it's actually not healthy. And so that was challenging at first, but then I just was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. I'll get to that meme they sent me when I get to it. Another challenge, I think there is a level of Instagram specifically with the stories and the sharing. It does feel like a way of connecting with people. It does feel like you know what's going on in someone's life. And so I missed seeing my friends' kids. I missed seeing videos of my nieces and nephews. And so that connection with friends was definitely something that I noticed, I like that about these platforms. I appreciate that. But I did not miss influencers telling me what to think. I did not miss all of the constant barrage of opinions and advertisements and just like the constant clickbait. It was so nice to be away from that. I'm trying to think if there were any other challenges that I faced. Yeah, I think just habit, truly, just wanting to like pick up and look and then remember, oh yeah, I'm not doing that this month and putting it away. I miss Pinterest because I find Pinterest to be super inspiring, but again, I can live without it for a few days. Okay, moving on to what I learned. I learned that I became less concerned with the things that were happening on my phone. If I needed to know what was going on in a friend's life or I missed someone, I would reach out and text them. I would reach out and see like, hey, how are you doing? Can we grab a coffee? I reached out to friends in other cities to just see like, hey, I miss seeing your kids. How are you? And so I learned that, when I am having these moments of where I'm going to Instagram to see what's going on in a friend's life, maybe that's a good opportunity for me to go and reach out directly. I have so much more headspace and time and concentration. The amount of time I realized that I had not scrolling on my phone. You don't realize like how much we just sit here and we're like, "Bup, bup, 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 bup," or watching YouTube or listening to podcasts. I really loved the amount of space and time I had with my thoughts because I'm already an overthinker. I'm already someone who has a lot of ideas, a lot of sensory inputs. I've talked about this before. I'm very sensitive. So when you're a sensitive person, you actually need a lot more time to process. When you're a creative person, you need a lot more time to ideate. And when you are consuming, when you're watching, when you're streaming, when you're listening, you're taking in everyone else's inputs. You're taking everyone else's opinions. You're taking everyone else's ideas. And that's really hard to come up with original thought, creative ideas, inspiration, innovative thinking. And so what I found is that I just really started to have a lot more of my own original thought. I started to be able to connect with God again and hear God's voice. And that was probably my favorite part. I also learned how much I forgot I enjoy reading. A friend of mine and I had both committed to reading John Steinbeck's East of Eden, which is like a 600-page book. I just loaned it to a friend, or I'd show it to you. But I didn't think that I would finish this month, and I did, thankfully. this is something worth noting. We had a snowstorm here in Nashville and I was out of power for like 4 days. So the one day when I was trying to hunker down, I literally read for like 6 hours, 2 days in a row. That was extreme. But I just got lost in this book and I just got lost in the characters and I got lost in the story. And it was similar to how I get lost to watching something, but this was my own imagination, my own creative thinking that was taking in these words and then coming up with imagery. And that was really amazing. So I loved that. And yeah, I just touched on it, but I was just able to connect with God. I wanted to spend more time with Him. I wanted to talk to Him earlier in the month, as I'd mentioned. And in December, I just became kind of numb and disconnected. And so having more time to journal with God and process with God and talk and drive without listening to something, I would be praying and kind of going back and forth with God. It was just a reconnection point for that relationship that is so incredibly important to me. And also, it helped me just connect with myself again. I really realized how much it's easy when there's like a feeling that's surfacing or something that's bothering me. It's so easy to just pick up my phone and ignore it, or put on a show and ignore it, or put on that podcast and ignore it. But I actually had to sit with myself and some things that I was processing and unearthing that required me just like getting still. And I was able to do that. And this is actually just coming to me, but those things that I had to process were from dreams. And my dream life became so much more vivid and real. And I was having dreams again that I knew were significant. And that is something that I've been praying for God to bring back, because I've always been a dreamer. But I realized that when I'm constantly taking in these inputs or watching TV, my dream life became dull. Or maybe it was still there, but I just wasn't like paying attention to it. I wasn't able to remember. So having dreams and being able to sit with my dreams and process them again was really special, because I felt like, again, it was that connection point for me and God to come together and have this relationship, this dialogue. It was juicy. I loved it. Now that my fast is done, what will I be taking with me? Well, I think that I want to stay off Instagram for a while. It has been really nice to just not feel like I have to be so connected to people's lives and people's opinions. I feel like this influencer culture has, it's just gotten kind of boring. It's gotten tired, and there's so many people with so many opinions, whether it's about the weather, about politics, or what's going on. It's just really hard to have an original thought, to really get clear on what I believe and what I think when I'm constantly taking in the opinions of others. And I found that taking this break helped me get very clear on what I want to participate in, what I want to think about, and what I don't want to participate in, and what I don't want to think about. I will start seeking out news media a little bit more just to be on top of things. But when it comes to having, all these people that you follow that are sharing about what they think about this or that, I frankly don't care what you think. What I care about are the facts and what I want to take away and synthesize from whatever it is that everyone is talking about. And we've gotten so far away with that, where we have this like culture of having to like appease someone's opinion or be nice or be politically correct. And really, at the end of the day, like, we are given a brain and a connection point with God for a reason, to pray and seek wisdom and seek counsel, and then bring that to a few people, a few trusted people, to have discourse. And I felt like that was something that came back from this, was just like being able to have conversations and discourse and not necessarily agree, but like go back and forth. And that was so nice, like real interaction. So I'll be keeping that for sure, limiting social inputs. I want to keep on reading. It was so nice to read all of January. I'm going to keep reading into February. I created and wrote so much more. I didn't mention that before, but I just pages upon pages of creative ideas. And so, writing, creating, I think taking this break from so much consumption really allowed me to open up my own resources of creativity, of flow, and that felt really good. And so, I want to continue that. And yeah, reaching out to people for human connection rather than looking to my phone through the screen to see how they're doing. So, those are a few things that I learned on this fast. Those are a few things that I found challenging and that I want to continue. And I'm curious, is this something that you would want to try yourself? Maybe like a little 30 days of no digital, no inputs, no streaming. Tell me what you think. I highly recommend it. And I hope that you got something out of this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, I'll see you next time. Have a great day.